Okay, so it's recording, so this will be interesting. Go to Google and search for Vagrant. Sorry for interrupting you completely randomly.
No, you're fine, man. Okay, so
Download that. Yep. I promise you'll like it.
Okay.
It basically gives you a perfect testing area for writing like puppet scripts, chef scripts, anything you want. It's really nice.
10 minutes left. Should I just install it?
Yeah, it should be a pretty easy install.
Yeah, I'm double clicking on it. See what happens.
Finally.
Are you at the office?
I am.
Wow. You're a good man.
I had to get all my stuff.
Oh, that's absolutely right.
I'll have to call you and Toby after when I start making more videos and just do them all this way. It's easier when I don't have to click anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have no problem doing that. You must restart your camera. Are you kidding me? I can't see.
You actually have to.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't. I'm in the middle of okay. Shit. That is crappy. Okay.
Toby?
You guys here? Sharon?
Toby!
Hey.
Guess what? You're famous. You're on the first DevOps Library video.
I'm on the first DevOpsLibrary video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Hamid randomly started, so all Hamid did.
Hold on. Let me correct that. You started and pulled me in. All right.
That could be true. So.
When do I start selling the royalties?
Very, very soon.
Alright, so Vagrant is installed. All I did, Toby, was go into this website, download Vagrant, and install it, and absolutely close all the things I was working on to reboot.
Here,
that was very nice.
I'll send you the link.
Now Vagrant, Vagrant is installed.
Open up PowerShell.
I'm looking at Hamid's screen, right? Not Ken's screen.
Correct. And Hamid is still struggling to open PowerShell right now.
Are you guys both working from home today?
I am at the office because I had to grab all my goodies and steal as much as I could from Hamid's office. So.
That's it. And deliver my gift?
Yes. Yeah. I actually do have your card. I don't have the gift. I'll have to figure out something on the gift.
You're gonna have to come.
I may have eaten the gift.
You're gonna have to eat this again, man. At least one more time.
Yep. So Hamid, on your C drive or like whatever drive you want, just make a folder and name it Vagrant.
Alright.
And then CD into there.
Parallel or just watching?
Make another directory, name it Ubuntu. Now type Vagrant and then hit enter. That way you can see all the commands that are available. Now, what we're going to do first is basically get an Ubuntu Vagrant file kind of set up. So type Vagrant and then space init, INIT, space Ubuntu /trusty64. So what this will do is it'll basically initialize Vagrant in this directory, and the image it's going to use is Ubuntu 14.04. So this is the latest version of Ubuntu.
I can't hear that.
It's trusty. Here, I'll type it. 1 second.
Oh, the word trusty?
Yeah.
Like that?
Trusty with a Y. So spell trusty wrong.
Oh, trusty. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I don't want all this stuff in the video.
And you don't have to have the name of the image. It's just we're setting it up so that this folder is always that Ubuntu image. So now, see, it's like we set up this Vagrant file. Go and type Vagrant up now.
Thank you.
My bad.
Hyper-V is, what the hell? Please enable her in the Windows feature. Okay.
This will be interesting. That's because you're using Hyper-V and I'm using VirtualBox, which is the default. So we can go and get it working for Hyper-V since that's what you're using.
Why is it using Hyper-V?
You must have Hyper-V installed on your box.
I don't.
Install VirtualBox.
Okay. Another one. Oh, I was hoping you were use chocolate. We'll make another one for chocolate, Mr. I mean, I'll put a cool video on it.
If it makes you feel better, if Hamid can get far enough before 1, because I'm meeting with Bo at 1 or 2 or somewhere in there, we will do chocolatey. What'd you say?
Which one is this? Oracle product?
Yep. It's free.
Okay, cool. I'm scared. The licensing scares the schnook out of me, so I didn't want to. Okay, VirtualBox for Linux, for Windows. There it is.
Hey Hamid, can you go to your system variables? I'm just gonna have you add one real quick. That'll help.
Yes, sir. Okay. Here I am. Where do you want that? User or system?
Go and do user because I'd rather you not have to restart again. And then the name of the variable, it's all caps. Just a minute, I'm trying to make you full screen again. It's vagrant underscore default underscore provider.
Vagrant default provider. What else?
And then set that value to VirtualBox all lowercase. So all this is going to do is make sure that when Vagrant tries to bring up a VM, it uses VirtualBox and not Hyper-V. Because for some reason it thinks that you have Hyper-V installed. Now one thing that's really cool when you're looking at the providers, you can look at the Vagrant website, which I have up, and I know you guys can't see my screen, but on their page they list all the different providers, and there's a lot more that you can get with different plugins. So like right now we're going to have it so that it automatically brings up VMs in VirtualBox, but you can have it bring it up on like a Hyper-V cluster. You can have it automatically spin up everything on a VM on AWS. You can use Docker. It literally talks to.
Do I go with default here?
Yep.
Do I go with default?
Default everything.
Yeah, cool. So it's very flexible, but it's good to go with VirtualBox. You don't have to mess with anything else. You basically have your own environment.
Your presentation disappeared. I think it's because of the VirtualBox install. So hopefully it comes back in a little bit. Okay, go ahead and close VirtualBox and go ahead and close PowerShell. The only reason I'm saying to close PowerShell is because it needs to update its little system variables.
Yeah, I figured.
And then just reopen it and cd back to that Vagrant / Ubuntu land. And do Vagrant up. Yay! So, remember how I was showing you, like with Docker, where it automatically downloads the entire Docker container if you don't have it? Vagrant is sort of similar in that if you don't have the image, it just downloads it from Vagrant Cloud for you.
So how did you know? Oh, we did say adding bugs first P64. So we did say that at some point. So now that it starts.
Well, this is going. I can show you where it's getting the image. So if you open up Google, and then just search for Vagrant Atlas. Do the second one. HashiCorp is the company that makes Vagrant, Packer, Atlas, Terraform, and like every cool tool. So right here, if you type in, just type in Windows in the search box. So I'm just kind of showing you like different images that are available. Like we said Ubuntu/Trusty64, you can say any of these images and it'll download it for you and set it up.
Wow.
Okay, if you scroll down a little bit, see the one that says L Mayorga 1980/Windows 2012 R2?
Yeah.
That one is awesome. So it has the latest version of Chocolatey, latest version of Puppet, and it's Windows 2012 R2. So later on, that'll be one that you'll want. Trust me. Do you want me to show you my screen? Like, I'm just gonna show you what you'll see after you get done downloading that.
Absolutely. I'll stop for this, okay?
All right, and I will start.
Now, we need to start the party.
All right, I am in my Vagrant folder, which is very similar to yours. I have an Ubuntu folder as well, so I'm in the Ubuntu one right now. And I'm just going to type Vagrant up. So this is what yours will do after it finishes downloading. So see where it's importing the base box? I don't have to download it because I already did. So you only have to do it one time. But this should only take hopefully less than a minute. It's pretty quick. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect.
SSH address, private key. It's booting it up now?
Yep. So it's a blank, vanilla, never been touched Ubuntu box.
So how does it network? Does he use your internal network?
It sets up a network and everything behind the scenes for you. And depending on whether you're using Hyper-V or VirtualBox or ESXi or whatever you want to use, it does all of that automatically. It even, you can set the provider to AWS, and this would be spinning up an instance automatically for you. So the part that you're seeing right now, like why you see all that extra stuff, is it was setting up Apache on there, and I'm going to show you why it did that. So I'm back in that folder now, and this finished, right? Like, you won't see all of this stuff because you don't have the Apache thing on there, but I'll show you why it's doing that. I'm going to just clear the screen real quick. Can you guys still see?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to just type Vagrant SSH and then hit enter. And I'm now SSH'd onto that box. Now, if I do service Apache 2 status, I can see that Apache is running. So this is a completely vanilla Ubuntu box, with the exception of it has Apache installed on it. So you're probably thinking, like, why does his have Apache and mine's just a blank one? So let me show you why it did that. And I'll show you two things. So first, I'm just going to go to the very top level on this Ubuntu box and do ls. And see this folder that says Vagrant right here? I'm going to go to the folder. So this is the folder that I'm actually in, right? Like, this is where I'm running Vagrant from. The C Vagrant Ubuntu 14.04. Now, see how there's 4 files in here? I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to cd to Vagrant. So keep in mind I'm on that Ubuntu box. I'm going to do an ls, and you see those exact same files. And I'll do touch. I'll just put Hamid to make a file named Hamid. And if you look over here, it created it right there. So it maps and syncs this folder between the host and Vagrant. See what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So
actually, if you want to do testing and you use that output somewhere else, you can, right?
Yep. And the biggest advantage here is, so like how I actually have it set up right now is, if you look over here, I have this HTML folder, and I actually have Apache hosting this folder. So I can use my editor, like my Sublime or whatever I want to use over here on my host to edit this, and it's going to change what Apache over here is hosting because it keeps it synced. I just have it linked to that right now. So I'm going to go and kill this VM completely and then show you like how it ended up getting Apache. So I'm just going to type exit and hop off, and then I'll type vagrant destroy. and it will completely kill that VM. And if I do Vagrant up, it'll do that exact same thing. I'll have a brand new Ubuntu box to play around with again from scratch. So now I'll show you why it had Apache. So see this Vagrant file?
So does it know that because of the folder that you're in?
Yep.
So it's folder based, so basically each folder would represent a VM.
Yep, correct. So this is my Ubuntu folder right now.
Right, okay. So what if you had more than one Ubuntu servers in this folder, or how would that work?
You can, there's different things that you can pass in, like instead of just doing Vagrant up, you can do different things aside from that. I haven't done too much with that, so I would have to check. I know you can do it though.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense that you can. You have to have multiple servers.
Well, and you can always have a folder for each one too to keep them organized. So if you look at your, you know when you did Vagrant init, it automatically created this Vagrant file right here and this little folder. If you open your Vagrant file, it'll have a lot of comments in it. I'm going to open mine up so you can see mine. I just deleted all the comments and added one line. So if you can see my screen, Hamid's, like straight out of the box, it's going to look like this and just have literally like 2 pages of comments with other options that you can pass in. So this is exactly what Hamid's actually looks like. And all it's saying is for this VM, this is the image that we want to use. Now I added one extra line to this. That is this VirtualBox has the concept of provisioners. So providers are what you're running VirtualBox on. So a provider would be like AWS, VirtualBox, VMware, and so on. Provisioners are what you use to basically provision the server after you finish. So like we're kind of used to using Cloud Init for that kind of thing. So right here, I'm saying run a shell script, and the path to the script I want to run is bootstrap.sh. So if I look, I have that here in this folder, bootstrap.sh. So if I open this, you can see this is literally what it's running, is this little shell script to install Apache. I remove the var www folder, and then I'm linking that to the Vagrant folder instead. So that's the reason why I had Apache running. It's just this little guy right here. So what this means is every time I do Vagrant up from now on, I'm going to get a vanilla blank Apache server that's completely untouched, ready for me to play with. And then when I'm like, oh, I think I know what I want, then I just add the rest of the commands right here. Vagrant destroy, then Vagrant up. And you just do that until you get exactly the perfect script that you want. So it's really easy for testing, if that makes sense. I'm going to show you one that's a little cooler than this. So if I go up one folder, okay, that's already destroyed. I'm just going up one folder, and right here I have a different Vagrant file. I should have put it in its own directory, but this is my Windows one. So I'm going to open it up in Sublime so you can see the configuration. So the only difference is right here, I have a different image. It's that Windows 2012 image. I'm saying to use WinRM instead of SSH. I'm also forwarding the RDP port just so I can use that. I'm installing a chocolatey package for Puppet, and then at the very end of this, I'm provisioning the server using Puppet. So this part right here, this last little guy. So keep in mind this entire server. If I just like if you guys first started, it would look like this. It is just a vanilla 2012 box. There's nothing weird about it. So what this will do, see the little provisioner guy right here? Watch what happens when I bring this up. And sorry if this is boring, but I promise it will help. Like when you're developing scripts, it'll just be so much faster. Like I'm using Puppet right now, but you can always use it's extremely compatible with Chef as an entire guide on how to use it with Chef. You can use literally any type of scripting that you want. If you want to try to write a PowerShell script for provisioning, And the cool thing is when you get done with this, you can literally have Vagrant spin it up anywhere you want as well. But it's mostly for being able to develop your scripts as quickly as possible, if that makes sense. So the oh, go ahead.
Where's the Windows? Where's the Windows stuff? It looks like in a bigger folder. I don't see anything of like.
Oh, it's here. Let me. If I move this little Ubuntu folder out, this, this, and this are for the Windows server. I just didn't name the folder Windows. Like I should have made another folder named Windows and put it there.
Oh yeah.
If that makes sense.
The Ubuntu folder, they're similar files.
Yeah, Ubuntu has the exact same stuff. I was just totally unorganized. Yeah. I did that intentionally to make this more confusing. So if I go over here, it says it's ready and booted and everything. So I can actually do two different things. I can do Vagrant SSH, and I am, believe it or not, SSH'd into the box, the Windows box, which is very weird, I know, but I am. So I'm gonna hop off there, and then the cooler thing for Windows, obviously, is I can do Vagrant RDP. And then I just type Vagrant as the password, and now I'm RDP'd into that Windows box. And then if I do Vagrant Destroy, it destroys this box, starts it from scratch, and then I can do Vagrant Up, and it brings it up completely from scratch again. A whole new, perfect vanilla Server 2012 box. Now the cool thing is, you know how I was saying like it was vanilla? If I go here and I look down, I have Sublime Text right here. I have Wireshark. I have something else that I wanted, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, it was Git. So I can type Git and Git's there. So I'm going to show you why it has those different things now, because like you're thinking this, I said it was vanilla, but I was lying to you. So 1 second. I wasn't lying, the box is vanilla, but what I have is in that Vagrant file, see where it says provision with Puppet? And then right here I have this line where I'm installing a Puppet module for using Chocolatey. So what this is saying is I'm using Puppet kind of like you guys are used to using Chef, but I also have a module so that with Puppet I can provision things using Chocolatey. And whenever you use Puppet as a provisioner, it looks for a manifest folder. So see where it says manifest here in my Vagrant thing? If I go in here, I have a default .pp. So this is for Puppet. I'm gonna open this guy up, and right here, this is what Puppet looks like. And I'm not. It's not that I'm trying to convert you. I am secretly, but I have package Sublime Text 3. Ensure that it's the latest version, and use Chocolatey to install it. Make sure Wireshark's installed. Make sure Git's installed, and it pulls all of these straight from Chocolatey, and it does it right after the VM's brought up. So that's literally all you like. I'm gonna go to Chocolatey real quick. So what's a random program, Hamid? Like any random Windows program? Toby, random program. What is it?
WinMerge.
What is it? WinMerge. It would be so funny. I was gonna say it would be horrible if that's the one program that's on Chocolatey. So here's WinMerge. It's actually really popular. I don't know how I didn't know about it. So package WinMerge. And let me know if I have a typo because you know I do that all the time. Make sure it's the latest version, and you can specify version if you don't want the latest. And the provider will be Chocolatey. So there's two ways I can do this. If I just save this file, and I can do one of two things. If I go over here and I do Vagrant Destroy and spell it correctly, and then say yes, destroy it, and then I do Vagrant Up, it'll spin that Windows server back up with I promise it will install WinMerge. But the other thing you can do is if you look, the thing that I added that to is this default under manifest. I'm going to show you how Puppet actually does it. So I'm still already peed into that box. This is that little Vagrant Windows box that I haven't killed yet. And I'm going to open up PowerShell on him. Now if I type Puppet, you'll see that Puppet's installed. Now if I go to, I'm just going to the C drive on this guy, and see where it says Vagrant right here? That's just like Ubuntu, where it's sharing that same, it's syncing this same folder with this VM. So it sees this manifest in here as well. So this manifest is the exact same one that we just edited. So what happens when you use Vagrant to spin up this box is it brings up a brand new Server 2012 box, and then it runs, because I have that Puppet provisioner, it does Puppet apply, and then I'm just going to point it to that file. So it's Vagrant manifest default.pp. So I'm just running Puppet by hand right now, so you can see what it would do, if that makes sense. And this is the exact same thing for Chef. So if you were using a Chef recipe in there and use Chef as a provisioner, it would actually call Chef solo and run these. So it's really, really helpful for developing, if that makes sense.
Did you have to install SSH
Nope.
program to be able to SSH?
Nope.
Like complaining, I'm getting a SSH executable not found in any directory.
Okay, maybe I did. Maybe I installed Sigwin a long time ago, so you might need to install that. Here, let me.
Yeah, it's actually telling me try installing Sigwin.
Yep. Okay. I had just had Sigwin installed from a long time ago. So.
Yeah, I'll download it.
Toby, see where it says it finished in 43 seconds? So this is the kind of thing like with Chef that would normally run every half hour. So Puppet finished this in 43 seconds. If I look at my program files, I have WinMerge right here. So you saw, like, basically to make this image have WinMerge, I literally only had to add, I guess it's technically 4 lines, but I mean, it's very, very small. I mean, that's very easy for getting that done. And I think as like Symantec and everything else that you could want. Oh, not that anyone would ever want Symantec, that might be the problem. So I guess I would have to make a package for that. But anyway, that kind of gives you an idea. Go ahead.
Could you also just PowerShell script with the chocolate commands in it?
Yep. So let me go there real quick. So here's the Vagrant site, and see where it says provisioning. These are all the different ones that you can use. And there are tons of plugins for adding more, so don't think that Vagrant's limited, even though it has literally everything. So you would want to use, oh, it is the shell one. Oh, okay. So if the provisioner name is shell, it automatically assumes that you want PowerShell if you're on Windows. So here's how you would do it if you want inline. So let me switch over to my, sorry I keep jumping around like crazy. If I jump over to, I'm just opening my Vagrant file for the Windows box. So like right now my provisioner is Puppet, and you can use multiple provisioners, by the way, and they run in order. So say we wanted PowerShell after Puppet or before or whatever, then you just do config.vm.provision shell, and then if you want to inline, this is how you would do it. This could be like makedir or whatever you want. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. I promise if you guys start using Puppet or Chef, it'll be much easier than using PowerShell for that. But yeah, you can definitely do a lot of tweaking that way. And you can also use external scripts like right here. It's really, really flexible. But the cool thing is, so I hope you're not thinking like when you look at this that means this is only going to be useful in Vagrant. The whatever you put here, so like say that you're provisioning with Puppet, you can, whatever you put in this little manifest, this is exactly like if you had Puppet running on like your guys' OpenStack environment, there's no code that you would change. This is exactly the same code that you would run. And the other part of that is if like let's say that you're on a really bad laptop and you don't want to run Vagrant on your laptop because for some reason you can't handle that many VMs. You can there's provisioners for OpenStacks or not provisioners, providers. So you could literally do Vagrant up and it's going to spin it up on the OpenStack environment and then you know what I mean? Like you can literally run it anywhere. So it's pretty powerful. But yeah, that's probably all I really have on that. And there's a ton of other features that it has, but I just wanted to go over like a real quick, like kind of getting started with it. I know you can just spin up VMs like on OpenStack and run the stuff in like a Cloud init script, but it makes it when you can just do Vagrant destroy and then Vagrant up and just keep iterating over and over, it makes it really easy.
Yeah, because if you want to spin something real quick right there on your machine, you can do that.
Yeah. And there's other things that you can also do that's a little bit fancier. I don't know why I stopped sharing my screen if I was going to show you more stuff. So see this thing that says Vagrant Share? I don't know if you can see it on here or not. So what Vagrant Share does is right now they have it's called Alice, which is free right now. And what this does is so say you have your little Vagrant box that you spin up and it's exactly like what you want to show somebody else. So like Hamid, you make this awesome, glorious chef VM that does magical things, but you really want you don't want to show a video. You actually want like Toby to be able to hop on it. You can then just type Vagrant Share, and it will give you a URL that you can give anybody where they can like SSH into RDP into everything straight into that VM. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, I can go and stop recording and then. But yeah, I can help you guys with anything if you need it or stop bugging you. Any of those.